Welcome out on the Golden Bears Sports Network. I'm Chris Malanga, and we're doing our winter sports preview where we're going to talk with all of our Bryan High School coaches from the winter sports. But first, we're going to start with Athletic Director Chad Savage, and we're going to talk a little bit of fall. We had a busy fall.
It was an amazing fall. It really was. Thank you for having us today.
No problem. So, fall is always a busy time because you got both soccer teams going, you got a tennis team going, you got cross country, you got volleyball, you got football, and cheerleading and all that stuff, and golf. And so probably fall the most busy time of the year as far as sheer number of sports.
Oh, fall is crazy. We could be hosting literally 4 or 5 events on any given Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, and Saturday as well. It's crazy for our staff. But we wouldn't want it any other way. We like to provide opportunities for our kids, for our coaches, for our community.
So let's go through and do some of the stuff. First off, the football team had a good season, and didn't get into the playoffs, but it was so close. But that's always kind of the big driver, and it was nice to have fans and full crowds back this year.
It was nice to have an option for our community to come out and support our football team. They finished 5-5. Coach Redhead did a great job with his staff and mentoring them and just building them throughout the whole season in order to peak at the right times. And we have a very difficult schedule. Yeah. We have 5 teams on our schedule that made the playoffs.
And when you open with the defending state champion, it sets the stage early.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go through some of the other sports. Golf had a good season.
Our golf team had an incredible season. They were league champs, sectional champs, district champs, and they placed 8th at the state. So it was Coach Grosjean and his team. They just really developed. I mean, there was development in the football team, there was development in the golf team, and they just peaked at the right time, and a lot of multi-sport athletes in the mix there too. So it was really neat for them to advance down the tournament trail and end up representing our district at North Store at that golf course in Columbus and placing 8th against some great competition.
And I remember Mr. Hess coming back, running across the field to play soccer after he did that. So yeah, absolutely. And nice. We can talk about girls golf this year. It's actually an NWL sport now. Right?
It is a league sport now.
That's awesome.
It'll start factoring into the all sports award for next year. So that's exciting. We have at least opened it up. We're looking for a girls head coach. So we're going to start interviewing that process here probably in the spring. We'll get somebody in place before summer. That way we're good to go, and hopefully we can get some girls out that have interest in golfing.
Now they will compete alongside the boys in the fall, right? It's
correct.
Not like tennis where it's opposite.
No, it is a fall sport.
Okay.
Correct. They will compete probably not the same nights, but it could be same night, same course. Could be opposite. Okay. With the boys, we did have, like I said, we had 2 that. They were multi-sport athletes, like you talked about Nathan Hess and Carter Brown. Carter Brown literally play our golf day round in Columbus on Friday morning, early afternoon, and his parents brought him home to play a game Friday night, and then went back down Friday night to play a round of golf on Saturday morning.
That's dedication.
Just incredible, and he did very well.
Yeah. Let's talk about soccer a little bit, a sport that's kind of near and dear to my heart. But let's talk a little bit about both the boys and girls soccer team. Girls had tremendous success this year.
Record-breaking for our young ladies. They finished 15-1-2 overall, league champions, 4-0-2 in the league. They were state-ranked throughout the course of most of the season. The boys team ended up 7-11-1, 3-3 in the league, which was 4th. Both of our coaches were honored by their colleagues, voted as coaches of the year in our league, so that says a lot about our coaches.
We had some players that had all league honors. We had players that had even going towards the state honors.
Yeah, Ellie Zimmerman ended up being named second team All-State by the Ohio Scholastic Soccer Coaches Association. So that's a tremendous honor for her.
Yeah, and especially after playing through some injury.
She had some adversity, yes,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
she battled through it, and again she was recognized by the coaches, which is great. I mean, it doesn't come any better than if your coaches are recognizing our coaches and our student athletes.
How about the tennis team? Another record-breaking season.
Yeah, again, that was talking about history making. They ended up 24-2 overall. Wow. Their only 2 losses were down in the state Final Four against just perennial powerhouses in the state of Ohio. Like I said, a Final Four team. They were ranked number 1 in our district all year for at least the last 2/3 of the year. state ranked number 8 at the last poll, 5 district qualifiers and 2 state qualifiers, and they were actually 2-time state qualifiers in Reese, Grodhouse, and Emily Bassett.
Just amazing. What Coach Owens has done with that program has just been nothing short of spectacular. I remember talking to him, and he would talk about all these teams that were like the tough teams, and now Bryan is in that conversation. Other teams are looking at the Golden Bears and going, "That's a tough team."
Yeah, when you think about tennis in Northwest Ohio, on the girls' side, you're thinking about Lexington, Central Catholic, Lima Shawnee, Ottawa Hills, and our girls competed with them and beat them this year, which was and the respect was there. It was an uphill battle trying to get that respect, but they certainly have it.
Cross country also had a good season.
Yeah, the boys ended up 5th in our league, and the girls were 6th overall. We had Joshua Taylor was the overall champion in cross country, and he won the event on a muddy course by 29 seconds over at Evergreen. I think he ran a 16:46, and then second place would have been a 17:15, somewhere in there. And sophomore Xander Fackler was 3rd place overall. So those two guys did amazing. We had 2 young ladies. Kate Thormeyer, a freshman, was first team all-league in 7th overall. And sophomore Alexis Nieves was 16th overall. And she ran it in 23 minutes. So, again, they're right there. And we have 3 out of those 4 back next year to pursue, hopefully better things.
Absolutely. Better. And then volleyball had a good season as well.
They did. Our volleyball team, they were back-to-back league champions, so they've lost quite a few girls from the last 2 years. But they a very difficult schedule. Their athletic director, for some reason, really upped the schedule on Coach Reinhardt, and they stepped up every time. They finished 9 and 14 overall against very, very difficult competition. We had somebody cancel on us, and we brought St. Ursula in to play at home, and one of the best D1 programs in the state. Absolutely. I mean, they're a perennial Final Four team in the state tournament, and we brought them in. Our girls got to see that competition. They ended up 4th with a 4-3 record in league play.
That's awesome. We had some individual honors for them as well.
Oh, we did. Gwen Spangler, yeah, she received all district. We had several girls that received district recognition. So again, amazing, Coach Reinhardt. What she does with that program, they truly do put the work in the off season. If those girls are not in a spring sport, they are doing a jump workout. They're in the weight room. Yeah. In the summer, they're doing other things. They're going to dunes and they're competing, and they're definitely stepping up to continue to keep that program at the top.
Did I get all the sports in the fall? I always forget it.
I think so. I mean, we talked about tennis. We talked about both soccer programs, football, volleyball, cross country, and golf. Yeah, most definitely. It's we had some record setters too. We had Gwen Spangler. She broke the career record in digs. She has 1,188. She's the only athlete to my knowledge who's gone over 1,000 career digs. So that is incredible. Aces in her career. She's at 168. Again, she continued to raise the bar there. Jordan Beck did, though. She broke a Gwen Spangler record, digs in a game. Oh, okay. So we're going to take down Gwen's name for one record and put up Jordan Beck. She had 37 digs in one game. Joshua Taylor broke his own cross country 5K, 3.1 mile time at Columbus Grove. He ran a 15:31. Which is incredible. I mean, he broke his old record was 16 minutes. He broke it by 29 seconds.
I'm not sure I could drive that.
I don't think I could ride a bike.
That's right, absolutely.
Corbin Shepard, football player, scored 6 touchdowns down at Maumee. In amazing in 3 quarters. I think it was 3 quarters.
Yeah, right. He didn't play the 4th quarter.
And he tied a record that dates back to 1934. Jim Small in 1934 set the record, and Corbin tied it. The girls' tennis team set a record for wins in a season, 24, and also for shutouts. They shut out 20 teams, which again is I mean, our goal used to be to get to 20 wins in tennis for boys and girls, and now they had 20 shutouts.
Yeah, that's
just amazing.
That's crazy. And you're going to have a lot of names to update there and change.
We do.
There. That's awesome.
We're in the process of updating the record board, the Wall of Fame, and add some pictures up to that Wall of Fame. So it's very exciting, and hopefully, as we enter into the winter season here, whether it's in wrestling or whether it's in swim and dive, boys basketball, girls basketball, or bowling, they're ready to step up and compete and see what happens.
Well, we're going to get a chance to talk in this program with all the coaches for the individual sports, but just want to get your thoughts real quick on the winter sports season starting. A new coach in basketball this year, so excited to talk to Brock Holmeyer.
Yeah, Brock and his staff they just have an excitement. They're building some relationships with the players. They did that in the summer, into the fall, and the kids are just working really hard. They're buying into the strategies and the concepts that they're teaching. You're definitely going to see a hard-working team out there.
That's awesome. Coach Grosjean back with the Lady Bears. They had a great season last year. Lost 4 great seniors, I think 4, maybe 5 great seniors, and they went against the eventual state champion, lost there, and they're raring to go and come back and get back to that level.
Yeah, well, we got to see Napoleon twice last year, and I think we played with them for 6 out of the 8 quarters. Unfortunately, though, they were able to knock us off in the fourth quarter both times. They're ready. I mean, they're very deep and talented, and Coach Grosjean and his staff are ready to compete for a league championship and advance down that tournament trail and see what happens.
Coach Dominique back as the wrestling coach, and excited to see that he's going to be able to field a full varsity team for the first time in a long time.
It's been a few years ago, yes, since we fielded a full wrestling team, and again, there's excitement there. There's kids that are first-year wrestlers that are going to do well. We have some experience that have continued to lead the program, and we like having those numbers, and Coach Dominic has a very challenging schedule too.
Coach Gillett for the boys and girls bowling team. Girls in the NWO won it 10 years in a row. Boys lost. They had it 5 years in a row and then lost last year. So, always high anticipation and expectations for the bowling program at Bryan.
Now, Dustin, Coach Gillett, does a great job, and I was able to watch them the other night and against Eldon, and they've opened the season very positively. And I think they're going to continue to get better. I mean, it's just development, and it's coaching, and the kids have bought into what they teach, and they're ready to keep competing for titles.
Can't forget about swimming, Coach Luce, and being able to get a good swim program. Always, I saw her on the way in. She was heading out to do her thing, and so just a good program all around there with swimming and diving.
Coach Luce and her staff, Coach Rocky, Coach Frame, they put those kids through some workouts that are like nothing you've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine going through those workouts. But those kids are prepped. They race against good competition. They're going to go down to Bowling Green here in a few weeks to compete in the Northwest Classic, and they will be tapered and ready to go for tournament, the OHSA tournaments in February, and we look to be well represented, hopefully down in Canton at state.
Yeah, and that's something that is every year it seems like we have kids that go down there, which is awesome.
We do, and they're competing for the podium too, which is great.
Real quick before we let you go, I just want to recap a little bit about how you said your athletic director makes tough schedules for these teams. These schedules that you're making in the regular season are really preparing kids for the postseason, aren't they? Because
we think so. Oh yeah, we have definitely tried to build our schedule to focus on seeing teams that are going to prepare us for a tournament run. I don't care if it's in football and in volleyball, soccer. A lot of our soccer teams are now playing a WBL schedule where we play 5 or 6 of those teams because we may see them down the tournament trail. Yeah. And just that level of play, we will prepare our kids and our coaches for tournament.
Last question, how cool is it to see players that played at Bryan go on to the next level in college? And it's been neat to kind of follow, Delaney Miley and people like that as they're going on to the next level, and that's just something really exciting.
Yeah, one of our favorite days of the year is when we're able to host like our fall, winter, the signing events, then a spring event. And hopefully we'll have one here in December to recognize a couple individuals. Nothing finalized yet, but we're some things in the works here, potentially for 2 weeks from today. Finalize for December 15th to maybe recognize a few kids that are going to take their talents to the collegiate level as they pursue their undergraduate degree.
And that just really talks about the strength of the athletic programs here at Bryan when you can go on and play at the next level.
Oh, no doubt. Academically, they're prepared, and athletically as well. I think our coaches do a great job within their program to prepare them, and then they're ready to see what happens at the next level.
All right, well, Mr. Savage, thanks for being with us. Chad Savage, our athletic director here at Bryan High School. We're going to take a timeout. We'll start hearing from the winter coaches after this, right here on the Golden Bear Sports Network.
The Bryan Athletic Athletic Boosters Board of Directors invites you to become Bryan built.
The Athletic Boosters support our athletic programs in many ways, and that support is made possible through both corporate and patron support.
We are Bryan built.
Welcome back on the Golden Bear Sports Network. Chris Malanga alongside Coach Brock Holmeyer of the Bryan Golden Bears. And Coach, first off, welcome. This is the first time we've had a chance to interact, and I hope you're excited to be here at Bryan.
I am. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your background before coming to Bryan, so the folks watching get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm from Putnam County. I graduated high school at Continental. I went to college at Bluffton University and played basketball there for 4 years, and married with a 3-month-old. So
Whoa.
I got a lot going on.
You do have a lot going on.
I
And
do.
you're actually now teaching here at Bryan, right?
Yes, I am. 6th grade special ed with Mrs. Luce, the swim teacher. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So you've obviously been in basketball your whole life. What made you want to be a coach?
I feel like I've always wanted to after I graduated college, and I needed to wait and a little bit longer, was kind of hungry when I was 25, 26, but I needed to do the middle school stuff, the JV stuff and assistance, so I knew I was going to be ready when the time came, and the time is now.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your coaching staff, because you're replacing Brandon Fisher, who went to Defiance, as an administrator, and so you're coming in, and who did you bring with you, or who are your coaches?
Yeah, so I brought my dad with me, who he's been a varsity coach for 10, 11 years at Continental, pretty successful, stayed a couple times.
Did he coach you?
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very intense coach. And his experience, I think I needed to surround myself, it's my first year, with experience. So I brought him along. Coach Z, everybody knows him around here. He's helping. He's freshman / helping JV. Coach Valdez, he was here last year. He decided to stay, and he's the youth man with me. He's young. And Casey Spitnell, who has a 5th grader, I believe. He's my other assistant, who does a lot of stuff with us and does a lot of stuff with the younger group. So.
All right, well, it sounds like a well-rounded coach with
Yeah.
lots of age variation.
Yeah,
and
touch all the bases.
Good,
Yep.
good. So you're coming into a program that has struggled as of late. What did you have when you came in? Was the cupboard completely bare, or did you have some good core to start building your philosophy in?
Yeah, I mean, we have a handful of juniors and seniors and a ton of sophomores and a good amount of freshmen. The issue is none of them have really played a lot of varsity minutes. I mean, we have 0 returning starters. We have maybe 5% of our scoring back, so it's a brand new team with a brand new mindset and everything like that. So it's going to take some time for everybody to get used to it, and these guys just haven't played a lot of varsity minutes. So it's over time. I think it'll help, and we're just working every day, trying to get better every day.
That's good. That's a good philosophy to have. Now, you guys have started out already. You played non-conference against Tenora, and in that one, just kind of reading it back through it, it seemed like you guys got down early, came back, and didn't give up, and came back, but ended up losing by 10.
I think it was 10 at halftime. We were down 10 at halftime and got it back down to 2 or 3 with the ball. So I was happy the way we fought. We didn't score very much. I think we only had 12 at halftime. So we got to put the ball in the hoop. You're going to win, right?
Yeah.
But I was happy with our effort. But winning is the goal. But patience is a virtue.
Okay. Now tell us about the makeup of your team. Who you're going to see. You said you didn't have a ton of minutes. Who are some of the names we're going to see play varsity a lot?
Yeah, you're going to see senior-wise. I have Craig, Carter, Logan, Jay. So I have 4 of them that are going to be in and out. Throwing around wherever I can fit them. And Evan Cox and Pelzy, those are juniors. They're going to get some minutes. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to what's going on because I'm new.
You're new, right?
And they don't. It's not like, well, I started 15 games last year. It's we're trying to fill spots. We got a freshman on varsity started on Friday, and then the sophomores. There's a ton of them. So it could be anybody's night any day. It's up to them. I mean, we are. The good thing about not knowing anybody is I have a clean slate, so I have no idea who any of these kids are, and I do now, but I didn't.
Right.
So there's no specific, this guy's gonna have 20 or this guy's gonna have 10. It could be 1 through 6. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, you came from Putnam County, which is kind of the center of high school basketball in this part of the state.
Yeah.
They take it pretty seriously.
Very, very.
You coming up and you're going to play in the NWAL, which is one of the greatest conferences in the state as far as in all sports, really. It's very competitive. What have you found so far as you've kind of researched the NWAL and these storied programs like Archbold and Wauseon?
Right. Well, we played. I've always played against Archbold. We played against Patrick Henry. When you get north up by Swanton and Delta, that's forbidden. I've never been up there, but I mean, there's always athletes, and they're always usually big, and they always usually play hard. So I know, we're very small compared to what we're used to being.
Yep.
I mean, our centers are 6'2", 6 foot. So.
And last year there was a 6'8".
And there was a monster, yes. So we have to figure ways out to be able to stop those kinds of guys. It's exciting. I mean, it wouldn't be fun not playing really good teams. So I'm excited. I'm used to it. I mean, in Putnam County, all you have is basketball. We don't have wrestling, swimming. We don't have it. It's either you do basketball or nothing. So I'm excited to get into the league. Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck as you go on. Your first home game will be Tuesday night against Hicksville, and we're excited about that one. But you play a pretty tough stretch before that.
Yeah, we go. Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we're gonna have.
That's a gauntlet.
It is. It's gonna be a good time.
That'll give you some good battle testing, right?
That's right. See who's tough.
Coach Brock Homeyer of the Bryan Golden Bears will be back after this as we continue here with our winter sports preview on the Golden Bear Sports Network.
The Bryan Athletic Boosters would like to wish all the student athletes the best of luck in all their sports this year. The Boosters are proud of your commitment to becoming Bryan built. It takes a lot of time and dedication to play sports and be the best student you can be at the same time. Good luck this year. The Bryan Athletic Boosters would also like to thank all of their corporate and individual patron supporters this year as well. It takes everyone to make a community and to become Bryan built.
Welcome back out on the Golden Bear Sports Network. Chris Malanga alongside Coach Dominique here of the wrestling team. And Coach, we're right in the middle of wrestling practice right now.
It's that time. It's that time.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the program here at Bryan. Now, how many years have you been here?
This is my 5th year with the program. 4th year as a head coach. So it's been a transition. I took the head coaching position right after Jeremy Sufel was our head coach. So.
Okay. And we've kind of been, at least as you came in, kind of in a little bit of a rebuilding mode, haven't we?
Most definitely. Up until this year, we have not filled all the weight classes. We have 14 weight classes in wrestling, and we haven't filled all the weight classes in 10 years. So it's been quite a while since we've been able to field a full team.
And you're doing that this year?
And this year we will fill every weight class, all 14 weight classes at the varsity level.
Awesome.
So, it's really nice because not only are we doing that, but we've also had to add a JV schedule because we've got kids who aren't going to get any wrestling time at the varsity level, and they will get some JV experience, which will help those kids. Back my first year coaching, we had kids that were first year wrestlers that had to be thrown to the wolves and wrestle with all the varsity guys, and that's a tough way to learn. If they can have a JV schedule to be able to learn from, that helps a ton.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, I mean, to be able to get some experience, at a lower level when you're not facing the best guy.
Yeah, you're exactly. Well, I mean, we had guys that were going out there and stepping on the mat and wrestling against state caliber kids from Delta and Wauseon and Archbold, and that's tough when you're learning how to learn the sport of wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. So walk us through, for people that don't know about wrestling, walk us through, how you set up the different weight classes, and then what actually constitutes a meet when you're matched.
Okay, so the state of Ohio, actually the National Federation, sets our weight classes. And then the state of Ohio adopts those weight classes. There's actually 3 different sets of weight classes. Okay. So not every state has the same weight classes because they don't always adopt the same ones. But we have 14 weight classes. We have 106, 113, 120, 126, 132, 138, 144, 150, 157, 165, 175, 190, 215, and heavyweight.
So you have to be below that weight,
you have to
at
be
that weight?
at that weight or below
Okay.
to be able to wrestle that weight class. So if you are wrestling 150 pounds, you have to weigh 150 pounds or anything under 150 pounds.
Okay.
So.
All right. And so then when you come to a match, and you guys, I got to be at Napoleon a little bit,
Yep.
or last weekend and get to see. Tell us how that works as far as, there's obviously different things that you do to earn points.
Right.
And to walk us through just for a little novice.
How you score,
Yeah.
right? So in wrestling, you have to gain control of your opponent. You start in a neutral position on your feet, and to gain control of your opponent, you have to get behind them, and they have to have their hands on the mat. And usually they want a knee on the mat, but as long as there's weight on their hands on the mat, that's 2 takedown.
Okay.
Now, when you're on the bottom, you are trying to get out and get an escape, is what it's called, and an escape is worth 1 point. That just basically means you get away from your opponent and you face back off on your feet to score a point. Now, if you go from on the bottom position and you change completely to the top position, that's a reversal, and that's 2 points. And then we have our near fall points, which are basically you got to take your opponent's back and break a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
And once you break that angle, the referee will begin counting. If the referee gets to a 3 count, you get 2 points. Excuse me, gets to a 2 count, you get 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
If the referee gets to a 5 count, you get 3 points. And then there are penalty points and things like that go in for illegal holds and different stuff like that. So it's a little different than some of the other sports that are pretty set as you either score 2 points or 1 point or 3 points.
It's kind of more of a judgment call.
Yeah, there is definitely some judgment in the scoring of wrestling, and that's why sometimes as a coach it can be a little frustrating,
right?
Because you're watching things happen and you think that there should be points, or you think there shouldn't be points, and they give points.
So when somebody steps out of the mat to wrestle, how they're going to be doing it for? Is it 3 minutes?
So we have 3 periods.
Okay.
Now last weekend when you were there, it was a preview, and during previews we only go 3 periods of 1 minute.
Okay.
But a real true match is 2 minutes. 2 minute periods, 3 2-minute periods.
Okay.
So it's 6. So it's a 6 minute match.
Okay.
And there's no timeouts. There's no breaks. There's no.
You're going at it for 2 minutes.
You're going at it for 6 minutes. And if by chance you end up tied at the end of the match, there's actually overtime that you then will go into, and you'll wrestle a minute overtime period, and then there are 30-second overtime periods that get added onto that. Ultimately, you could end up wrestling a match could last 8.5 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so now that we've got a little basic understanding, tell us about your team this year.
So super excited because we are going to have, like I said, for the first time in over 10 years, all of our weight classes filled, which up until this point in time has been tough for us. When you step out and you wrestle against teams that have full weight classes and you don't, those forfeits, you automatically give up 16 points.
Gotcha.
And so we were giving up anywhere between 18 and 16 points right off the bat in a lot of matches. And to compete against other teams, it's just tough. You can't make up those points.
Right.
So that's what I'm super excited about. I have a great group of upperclassmen. Super excited about my freshman class that is coming in. I have 8 freshmen. Awesome class. They're working hard. They have your son has joined us. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
He works. The cool thing about that is, if we can talk real quick, is that he has 0 experience, so he has no bad habits whatsoever. And he's just a worker. He works his butt off, and that's one of the things. A lot of times in wrestling, you have to put in that that grind, that work to get to where you want to be, and he's doing an awesome job at that. And he's got some great kids he's learning from.
Yeah.
You know, Aiden Fenner, who's a senior this year, is a great leader in our room. We've got Bronson Bernath, who's a senior this year, another great leader. We had Trey Schartzer, who didn't come out last year as a junior, but is back with us this year as a senior, so that's awesome. And then my junior class, I've got some great leaders there. And like I said, my sophomore and freshman class, those kids are just working their butts off. They've put in an awesome off season, and I'm super excited about where we're at.
Well, it's a credit to you and the other coaches for being able to get it to that point where you got enough kids to do JV and things like that. So talk about, speaking of coaches, who is helping you out this year?
Okay, so my coaching staff consists of Craig Bosselman, Chris Cook, Del Miller, Dana Grant, and Rick Fenner. I have 2 volunteers, Connor Ford, who actually wrestled for Bryan back a few years ago, and Tyler Jones, who also wrestled for Bryan back a few years ago. So I'm super excited about the group that we've put together. Craig has a lot of wrestling experience. Chris has a lot of wrestling experience. I hate to say this, but Del Miller has more wrestling experience than probably all of us put together. But Del's great. I mean, he works with our junior high program, and he knows the fundamentals of the sport, and so he drills and drills and drills those kids on those fundamentals. So when they go from the junior high program to our high school program, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they already know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we always talk about the NWAL for all the sports. Are you guys participating in the NWAL for wrestling?
Yep, we are in the NWAL. We participate in the NWAL. We're in with the likes of, obviously, all the main schools that are there, but the ones that we usually look at when we talk about wrestling are Delta, Wauseon, and Archibald are usually the 3 big dogs. Delta, I know, is bringing in a lot of kids, bringing in quite a few kids from last year, and their freshman class is really, really tough. So I know that's going to be a pretty tough team there. And then Wauseon is just always tough, and as is Archibald. So I'm looking, honestly, if we can place in the top 4 at our league tournament, I'll be super excited.
That's awesome.
We'll be right on path to where I think where we need to be going. Because, again, up to this point in time, we haven't been able to fill weight classes. So to compete in the league tournament, we don't compete very well because we don't have enough kids to score points.
But now you do.
Now we do. So
it's really nice because wrestling is both an individual and a team sport. And it's just a different dynamic than when you're playing basketball or baseball.
Right, 100%. And wrestling is one of those sports where you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. If you're not willing to put the time in and learn the technique and do the work that needs to be done there, usually it will show on the mat. And another thing, it's not always the biggest, strongest kid that's going to win. That technique is huge, and so that's a cool thing about wrestling. They do have a state tournament for team tournament, but because of the way that's formatted, you have to have so many kids that qualify for the district tournament before you get into the team state tournament. So we're not quite at that level yet, but that's the goal. I mean, let's be honest, Bryan has never won a league championship in wrestling as a team. We've had individual league champions, but we've never won a team state championship or league championship, and that's my goal.
That's awesome.
To be team league championships, and if we can do that with the likes of Delta and Wauseon and Archibald, then you're back. We're doing things.
All right.
So.
Well, Coach Dominic, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yep, appreciate it. And we look forward to following you a little bit this year, and hopefully you have a good season.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back with more after this on the Golden Bear Sports Network.
Enjoying the game on the Golden Bear Sports Network? These broadcasts are a labor of love. Want to join us in this effort? Become a sponsor starting at just $25 per game. For more information, email chris@bryansports.com or call 419-595-0943. Welcome back on the Golden Bear Sports Network. Chris Malanga alongside Coach Dustin Gillett of the bowling team here. And, you know, bowling has had a very successful tenure here in its short number of years at Bryan.
Yes, it has.
It's been great. So it started as a club sport, and so now it's a regular varsity sport now.
Yep.
And you guys have had great success both on the boys and girls side. And tell us a little bit about how you came to be involved with the bowling program at Bryan.
So I became involved. Doug Miller, who was the original head coach who started the program up, he used to coach me when I was younger, and he approached me and said, "Hey, I'm looking for some assistant coaches. I think you'd be good for the job. Are you interested?" So I thought that was pretty cool that he came to me, because like I said, he used to coach me when I was younger, and I can tell you I didn't think I was good enough to be able to coach, but he actually thought I would be. So thought about it, took him up on the offer, came in behind him, assisted behind him for a little bit, and that's kind of how I got started with that.
And you've been the head coach how many years now?
What do you think? This is my fifth season? Or fourth? I think here we went. This is my fifth season. Be my fifth season.
Fifth season. Awesome. So the thing that really impresses me about the bowling team is how far you guys have come from just starting as a club program and then coming, and now we're sending kids to college to bowl coming through the program. Talk a little bit about that kind of growth and the growth of the numbers of kids, because now on the boys side there's a part of that JV team too. So how has that all come about?
Well, yeah, I mean,
success breeds success kind of thing.
Correct. Kids going off to college. I mean, we've had several kids go off to college for bowling, and that's really awesome to see. Right now you have Noah Bonnie, he's off to college. Emma Mead, she's bowling in college, and we've had several kids throughout. Danny Hickey, she's still down bowling in college. So we've had several kids that are going through the program bowling, and so that's awesome though for the sport, for us, because it shows the kids that we can go on next level. Bowling is one of the biggest growing sports in high schools and in college.
Really?
I get emails all the time from new programs in colleges. They're saying, "Hey, we just started a bowling program. Do you have anybody interested? Here's our information." So it is one of the most growing sports out there. So that's really awesome. So the more kids we can get off to college, the more I think we can bring kids in to come to the high school program.
Let's talk first about the girls program. So how many girls you have as far as numbers this year in the girls program?
We have 8 girls this year, which isn't really a bad number. I'd like to have more for just JV purposes, and it makes it easier to when we move forward to have more kids. But 8's actually a pretty good number to have, because we're allowed to roster 8, which is perfect. So So I have a mix right now. I have a lot of new kids coming in, but I have a couple good veterans on the team that's really helping out. And,
who would a couple of those veterans be?
Faith Harding has really stepped up
from last year.
Yep, and she's our senior this year. And Jessie Fetterspiel will be a junior this year, and they've kind of helped step up and lead teams.
And they've had some success both in the league and then postseason even.
Correct. So both those girls were part of our state team. So they both got to see that. They've on the NWL side, so this is 10 years running for the girls, or 10 straight years we've won the NWL. So yeah, they've been part of that tradition, and going forward, Faith did really well at state that year. We went to state, she finished 3rd, so that was really awesome. So yeah, definitely some.
And then there's some newer ones also that are going to be.
Correct. We have a lot of new girls this year. So we brought in 5 new girls this year, which was huge because we were running short on kids. So it was great to get those numbers to come in. So.
All right, let's talk about the boys side. Boys, as I said earlier, have good numbers. In fact, you've got a JV squad of boys. Let's talk about some of the players you would see on the boys side.
So yeah, on the boys side, we had 12 kids this year. Again, it's nice because it's nice to have all the extra kids. It's rough on the coaches, especially when they're new and they've never bowled before. Which we don't deter anybody because we're trying to rebuild the program, and a lot of our kids that come through the program have never bowled. We have a good mixture of that, and we build them up from the ground up and work on them. And so, but yeah, we had 6 or 7 new kids I think this year that came in. one with bowling experience. That's Dakota Brandeberry. Other than that, everybody else is new to bowling, but coming along well. And again, on the boys' side, we have great veteran leadership and boys that have been around bowling for so much longer. So they've really helped out in working with some of the younger boys. Would keep working on their own stuff, but they're able to help out with some of the younger boys too. Like Matthew Mead has really, he stepped up. He's a senior this year, and I can tell you, Caleb Mewey, he stepped in and has really helped out with the boys. So those are a couple of the top leaders that I can see in the boys' side.
How have the boys done in the league in the postseason?
In the postseason, well, we were trying to think. We've won 5 straight. There's 5 straight NWALs, I think, for the boys. Okay. We did not win it last year. We lost that in our tournament. So we're hoping to get back on top of that this year, and I think we really have a good chance to do that. So postseason-wise, we've made it to districts or so a couple times, and we've never been to state. So that's always
a goal.
Always been a goal there is to get to state with them. Boys like to get caught up and score a lot, and it's a mentality thing. It's just we gotta get that mentality out of them to realize that it's not just a score. That we continue to make our good shots and work on what has to happen behind the foul line. If we make the good shots, the pins will fall eventually. And that's one of the things that we talk about a lot. That and picking our spares up, but they get caught up. The boys next door are striking a lot for right now. That means, hey, I got to throw a strike, and then they're trying to push themselves to throw a strike. So, and you can't do that. So,
all right. So, for those people that have never been a part of like a bowling match, or tell us about how bowling goes as far as how many games and things like that when you compete.
Yeah. So in our NWAL, we bowl 2 regular games. So we have 5 different bowlers, and that makes our official competing score roster, and they'll each bowl 2 games each, and then that takes your total match play score, and then we bowl what's called Baker games, and we do 3 of those. Okay. And a Baker game is basically you take 5 of those kids, and they each bowl 1 frame, and then they turn around and bowl again the next frame. So like if you bowl the first frame, you bowl the 6th frame. Okay. Second frame, you bowl the 7th frame. So it makes it a full team game at that point because you are building on each other, making it one score.
And your scores are going just like they would be in regular bowling. So if you have a strike, the next bowler gets the next 2 balls.
Next 2 balls, scores will affect the next 2 balls.
So that really does become team oriented.
And that's where So bowling is kind of a weird mixture sport because there's everybody's like, wow, this is bowling a team game. Because you're really bowling for a score. It's kind of like golf in a way. You're going for your own personal score. However, when we get to the Bakers, and that's where it really mixes in that team event.
What you guys have won the league in the girls' side and the boys' side. Who are the teams that maybe you're looking out for this year as far as being really successful?
So on the girls' side, definitely going to be Wasion is going to give us a run for our money. Actually, I could say probably Wasion's going to probably lead it right now, and we're going to be pushing to try to get to them, to be honest with you. With us being definitely on a rebuild year, and a lot of new girls, and getting that nervousness out of there is going to be rough. We play Wasion next Friday at their home for the first match. I can tell you there's probably going to be some high tensions and nervousness because everybody knows that Wasion, we're always up there with Wasion in the girls' side, and they're going for their first NWAL, and it's not going to be easy. That's for sure. Absolutely. So definitely them on the girls' side. On the boys' side, I'm going to probably say Liberty Center is going to be really tough.
Did they win the league last year? That's what I thought, and it was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
What I thought.
It was a very tight contest between us, Patrick Henry, and Liberty Center. Yeah. So. It was actually kind of fun doing that. It's fun when you have teams that are right there, and it comes down to the tournament, and it really makes it worth something. So, but yeah, Liberty Center's definitely got a good team again this year. So, they're definitely going to be one of the top ones for us to compete with. Patrick Henry is always usually a pretty good competitive team for sure. I haven't really looked at a whole lot of the other ones, to be honest with you. and it's a little early to tell.
Yeah.
We're in week 1, so all I have to go off of is our week 1 scores. And you know how week 1 goes in any sport.
Yep.
You got the nervous, the jitters, and who knows how things are going to turn out. So
what the lineups are going to be and things like that. Well, Coach, I wish you the best of luck as we go on with the bowling team, and thanks for being here today.
Thank
Coach
you. Appreciate
Dustin
it.
Gillett here on the Golden Bear Sports Network. We're going to take this time out, come back with more after this.
The Bryan Athletic Boosters would like to wish all the student athletes the best of luck in all their sports this year. The Boosters are proud of your commitment to becoming Bryan built. It takes a lot of time and dedication to play sports and be the best student you can be at the same time. Good luck this year. The Bryan Athletic Boosters would also like to thank all of their corporate and individual patron supporters this year as well. It takes everyone to make a community and to become Bryan built.
Welcome back out on the Golden Bear Sports Network. Chris Malanga alongside Makenzie Luce, coach of the swim team, swim and dive. And boy, it's hard to believe we're already in this season.
It always is. It always seems to like jump on top of us versus creep up to us.
That's right. So we got through a big fall season, and now we're here in the winter and getting ready. A good swim and dive team coming back. And let's talk about last year. What did you lose last year from your team?
We lost some power from our team last year. Some kids who have consistently been at the state meet. So it's next man up again this year. Who's going to step into their shoes and continue the traditions that we've built here?
So who did step up? How many freshmen do you have coming up?
We have quite a few freshmen.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't even know the number off the top of my head, but it's a good crew, and they're talented, and they're working hard, so it's exciting to see how they're going to improve and where they're going to end up.
Okay, so with swim, you have individual events and you place, and that leads to a team score. Is that where we kind of going over kind of all the scoring and how things go for each of the sports? Is that kind of the aspect of it? You're swimming for yourself, but also for the team.
Yes, and then we also have relays mixed in there. So most people would be a little bit more familiar with track. So it's similar to a track type meet where you have individual events, you have relay events, and then it all combines together for your team score.
And your goal is trying to get faster as the season goes on, is that right?
Yep, we're always trying to beat the stopwatch.
Okay, so tell me what it looks like to get things going for the season, what kind of workouts you do, how you get that going, because obviously you've got kids that may have come from a fall sport, but you may have kids that haven't come from any sport. So how do you start the conditioning process and getting ready with the team?
So our conditioning process, we start with a lot more aerobic work, longer strokes, just trying to build a foundation. Kind of talked to you about like building a house. You gotta have a good, strong foundation, and then you start building your levels up until we get to the peak of the house, which hopefully will be in February when we're swimming our fastest.
Okay, so who do you compete against? Are you does the NWOL have a swim league, or are you in a separate league?
It does not. There are not enough teams in the NWOL that have a swim league. We are not in a swim league. We've tried for several years to get into one and just haven't been able to get into one. But from the NWOL, Wauseon has a team. Archibald has like 1 or 2 swimmers, but they're officially a team for their high school. And that might be it.
And so who are some of the other teams that you kind of pace yourselves against as far as teams you want to beat?
Yeah, we are fortunate because we have Wauseon is a state level team, Napoleon is a state level team, so we're very fortunate to have great competition right here in Northwest Ohio to help push us and make us better.
Okay, and you guys swim over at the Y.
Yes.
And so those are where all your home meets are and practices are. So people can come out and watch meets, can't they?
Yes, they can. Most meets were usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Our first home meet is actually next Tuesday, December 7th at 5:30 at the Y. So if you want to come see what swimming's all about, come on over.
Okay, so who are some of the names that we're going to see having a lot of success for the Golden Bears, or kids that kind of are your feature kids?
You're definitely going to see Kellen Rigg's name.
Okay.
He is a standout and has been. He's a senior this year, and so this is his 4th year being a standout All-American type swimmer. So really fast at the state level, really fast at the national level. He's fun to watch. You're going to see a lot from Jack Miller, Era Alkanakian, Emily Bassett, Katie Seaman, Maya Kyle.
And those are all kind of names we've heard in other sports because, you know, Emily and Katie went to state in tennis. So, I mean, that can only help, right?
Absolutely. And I want the kids to be involved. I'm like, be involved in whatever you can be. That's what makes you the person that you are and what makes you so good. You know how to work. You understand the dedication that it takes to be as good as you want to be.
And so how long is your season? You're starting with your first home meet on Tuesday, but how long do you go? How's the process for the year go between just starting out and getting to state?
As far as like our training?
Yeah, your timeline, the timeline.
The timeline, well, we start with that aerobic stuff, and then we go into, then we start moving into more anaerobic work, which is more race pace and holding specific times. And then we go into like some threshold work where the kids are going faster than race pace, but they get a little bit more rest. And then we go into the last little bit would be like a taper season, where we keep the tempo quick, but they get even more rest, and the athletes love that part.
They love it. And so then you get into your actual swim season where you're competing against other teams, and you get into, is it like you go sectionals, district kind of thing, like through state?
Yeah, we have sectionals, districts, and then state meet, so we have a 3-level system.
And the state's in Canton, right?
Yeah, we're in Canton.
Okay.
Different from most of its
Hall
other sports.
Hall of Fame city too. So
right, yes. Our pool's right next to the Football Hall of Fame.
That's awesome. All right, so you also were on the board back here. We've got some of our records and things, and you talked about Kellen Reagan. His name's up there an awful lot. But also it says dive, so we have a dive team as well, and you want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, so diving, although both water sports, is very different from swimming. Swimming takes a lot of mental strength as far as I've got to keep going, I can do this, pushing through barriers that way, where diving takes a lot of mental courage to get up on that board and to go off forward but then flip backwards, knowing there's a possibility you could hit your head and you don't know where you're going to land. And as much as people don't think it does, when you're coming down from about 10 feet and you land flat on the water, it's like hitting a concrete wall.
Ouch.
And the bruises that the divers come out with, and they have to get back up on the board and do it again. So the mental courage is very, very difficult.
And is Catherine Rocky still your dive coach?
She is, absolutely she is.
Do you have any other assistant coaches that help out with the teams?
We are happy to say that we have Lisa Frame back with us. Worked with Lisa.
She's been around forever.
She's been around forever and took a couple years off here, and this summer we got her to come back with the summer team, and then she agreed to come back with the high school team, so we're so excited to have her back on deck with us, and her energy and her love for the sport.
That's awesome. Any final thoughts you want to share with those watching about the swim team?
Just come out and support us. We'd love to have people there. These kids work so hard and want to put on a good show for people and want to show people what they can do and their talents that they have.
Awesome. Coach Makenzie, Luce, thanks for being with us. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, we'll have more on the Golden Bear Sports Network.
The Bryan Athletic Boosters Board of Directors invites you to become Bryan Built.
The Athletic Boosters support our athletic programs in many ways, and that support is made possible through both corporate and patron support.
We are Bryan Built.
Wrapping things up here on our winter sports preview on the Golden Bear Sports Network with Todd Grosjean of the Bryan Lady Bears. And Coach, we talked a little bit previously before our games, but last year was just an amazing year for the Lady Bears. Getting all the way to the finals of the district and then having that Napoleon team that eventual state champion take it down. What a special year. Want to remark on that a little bit?
Yeah, it was a fun ride. Our senior class was pretty crucial in us getting that far. Those 5 seniors, great leadership, great kids, and that was a fun experience, and it took our program to another level, and credit goes to them. We have some kids back from that group, and to this point, we're really excited about the year in front of us.
That experience with those underclassmen is going to be huge because they've done it already.
Yeah, and they got a taste of it. They obviously practiced against those kids all of last year, and obviously we had some big shoes to fill, but our JV team last year went 20-0 under Coach Lamberson, and they had a great year. And those kids, in the past, we probably had to push 2 or 3 freshmen up into the varsity lineup and made them play at the varsity level, and they didn't have to do that. They played at the level that they needed to develop and continue to improve, and I think that was key, and I think it's going to pay dividends.
Real quick before we talk about this year's team, I want to just talk about having players that you've coached now go to the next level. I'm specifically talking about Shallon, but you've had other players that have done that. How does that make you feel as a coach to see somebody going to the next level?
It's so exciting. Allie Miner's up at Siena, and Shallon's getting an opportunity to play at Lord's. You know, they've had some kids that have left the program. They had a coaching change right before the season started, and she's gotten to start, I think, every game. We're going to make a trip up there. Actually, we're going to go December 11th. We're going to go watch Lord's in the afternoon and then go from there to Siena and watch Allie play in the evening. So, yeah, it's a thrill to see those kids have success at the next level, and it shows our kids that are in the program that there's an opportunity if they want to pursue it and they want to play basketball at the next level. You know, our program right now is hopefully setting those kids up to do that.
Awesome. So let's talk about this year. Again, you lost 5 seniors, but you have a pretty good chunk coming back, returning.
Yeah, you know, it's led by our senior class again this year. Addie Arnold and Delilah Taylor both had the opportunity to play as freshmen. They had to because we desperately needed some shooting a few years ago, and when they were freshmen. And Allie Zimmerman unfortunately got hurt before the start of her freshman year, injured her her other knee, and she was part of that group, as well as Brooke Taylor, who's filling a role right now, doing a great job for us. Ellen Murphy is still in the program at 6'2", 6'3", and then Lexi Allspaw is also, giving us some minutes here and there. So that senior class is, they've done everything we've asked them. Hopefully we're going to get some leadership from them. And then our junior class has got Reese Grotehouse. We want to keep Reese healthy for a change. That would be nice. She has aspirations of playing at the next level. Blaise Langendurfer had a great season last year on the JV, had the opportunity to be the scorer and somebody that group looked to provide offense, and we're going to ask her to do that again this year. Ella Miller is doing a great job defensively. I think eventually she's going to maybe fill the void that Allie Zimmerman is going to vacate when she has surgery. But Ella does a great job on the ball. And then we've got some sophomores. Our sophomore class is pretty deep with Kaylee Thiel and Ella Voigt. So, our numbers are down a little bit. Our freshman class, we've only got 3 freshmen, but they're working hard. Hopefully we can keep these sophomores together and just keep moving forward.
Looking down the roster last year, one of the first thoughts I had was, wow, you guys have a deep bench. But looking this year, same thing. It's crazy.
It's fun because, we lost a lot of size, a lot of length and athleticism, but as I've told this group, I think we may be more athletic and a little more skilled shooting the basketball and handling the basketball than last year's group. Last year's group was tough. They were physically and mentally pretty tough group, and they weren't afraid to back down. They liked contact. Makenzie Seamer, for 4 years, that she filled that role and did it exceptionally well. Shallon was a two-way threat. She could go inside out and gave us great offense. Chloe Antigo was long and loved to defend. Bree Long was our glue girl. She took all the charges and did all the dirty work that all coaches love to get out of somebody and have that role filled. And then Brooke Lamberson was just so savvy out front and so calm and never got rattled, and she did a great job for us last year as well.
And lots of depth though this year too. You're going to be able to play 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10 girls a night.
Yeah, we've tried to develop some depth over the course of the summer, and our kids have really, we're still trying to figure out a few roles, but most of them know their role and what they're capable of doing. And what's been nice these first 4 games is we have not had to rely on one person on a given night to have to score for us. And it's been somebody different every game, and hopefully that's going to continue. That's a sign of a good team, and it's tough to scout somebody when you don't know who's going to step up on a given evening.
Let's talk real quick about your coaching staff. You've had a lot of good years with some of these guys, and a new face too.
Yeah, John Minor returns. He's done a great job. He's the one that got me into this 22 years ago on the girls' side of it, and he's back. He does a great job. He loves to watch film and break our opponents down and game plan. Colin Walker, it's going to make me feel old again, but I coached him in 5th and 6th grade boys years ago, and he reminds me of that quite often. But Colin's back, and he does a great job, and eventually he's going to make a great head coach. And then Delaney Miley, which makes me feel old as well, because it seems like yesterday Delaney was out there in a uniform playing for us, and she's coaching our JV team and doing a great job.
I've been doing this since 2006, which is not as long as you, and I feel old some of the times when I look at some of these players. I want to talk real briefly about the league this year. NWAL is always a tough league. The ladies have had success in a lot of sports in this league in the past couple years, and you guys won it outright last year. What do you see from it this year?
Well, it's going to be very balanced again. You know, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but they thought they picked us again to be the favorite going into the preseason, and that just creates a bullseye on your back. And we've tried to let the kids know that, you know, everybody wants a piece of us. So, you know, I think it's going to be really balanced. I think Wassians returns a very, very good team. Archbold's got great numbers. I know they've got some injuries right now, and but I think they're going to be in the mix. Liberty Center's got a lot of young kids. I know their sophomore class is really solid, like ours was. I think their JV's only loss might have been to ours last year, so they're going to refuel and plug new kids in. I think Evergreen's going to be good. Patrick Henry was young last year. They're going to return some kids. Swanton was hit pretty hard by graduation, as was Delta.
Yeah.
So. But you better be ready to go. I've said that for years. Our league we have too many good coaches in this league that if you're not prepared and you look past somebody, you're going to get surprised. So. And
you had a chance to open the season in an opening season tournament, which was exciting.
Yeah, that was new for our kids. We tried to beef up our schedule a little bit and challenge them. We got in the QP Classic down in Lima.
Yeah, Marion local, no, just slouch, you know, want to open with them.
A few of those girls, I think, might be in football uniforms this weekend, but that was a good experience for our kids. We got to spend the night down there and, you know, have a little bit of team bonding. But, you know, it was a very physical team, and that was good for us. Even though we lost, we told them afterwards that's probably going to make us better.
Absolutely.
I thought we turned around and had to play Lima Senior the next night, and they were a little undermanned and young, but our kids gained some confidence that night. And then last Tuesday we played at Tenora, which that was a good win on the road against a very athletic and very good young Tenora team. So
yeah.
And then last night with Wayne Trace, I thought our kids played really hard. We defended well, followed our game plan, and so we're getting there. It'll be a work in progress.
And you're opening your season with a tour of the GMC, as we talked about. So
yeah.
A lot of those teams. So.
Yeah, Paulding, Edgerton next Monday, Hicksville the following Thursday. So it just continues.
All right, well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck as we go on with the season. Thanks for being with us.
Appreciate it, Chris.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Winter Sports Preview here on the Golden Bear Sports Network. I want to thank Chad Savage, Teresa Kuzma, and the entire athletic department here at Bryan High School, all the coaches, and please watch all of our sports online at bryansports.com this year. For all of us at the Golden Bear Sports Network, I'm Chris Malanga. Have a great night, everybody.